thanks for clicking. This is my 8th check-in for my low buy. I do this every 3 months. I am trying to own less beauty related items. It's just too much for me to use and it's really impractical for me to keep all of it at one time. So I'm trying to reduce the number of things I own. To do that, I created a point system. I have things broken down into category, and depending on how out of control that category is, it may take more points before I can buy a new one. That means that even though I am still allowed to buy things, it is going to mean that I'm reducing the size of my beauty item collection over time. We're going to see how well I've done over the last 3 months. It's actually another really good check-in. I'm pretty happy with that. And since this is also the 2-year mark for when I started doing this, we're going to look at how it's gone over the last 2 years. Usually it's just a trend over 3 months, but we're going to talk about the last 3 months and then compare to where I was when I initially started as well. First is body care, and I'm starting with the subcategory body treatments. These are things that have an advertised effect other than just moisturizing. So some of them moisturize but do other things, and others are for different things entirely. But my goal is to have 5 items in this category. 3 months ago I had 13 of them and I am down to 12. I did finish 2. These are 2 different skin sticks that are now empty, courtesy of 50 Shades of Black. And I did buy a new one. This is a shave oil, and I just didn't own any shaving products at all. So I bought this, so I have reduced my inventory by 1. Since I have 2 outs and 1 in, that actually takes me to 0 points in this category, and I need to use up 3 more things to buy anything else. Next is soap and body wash. I have these lumped together because I don't really care which one I'm using and they serve the same purpose. I have a goal of owning 4 of them. Last time I had 11. I am down to 10. I did finish 2, which gave me enough points to buy 1, and I bought a body wash. So I have now 1 point total. I need to use 2 more things to buy another one. Next is body lotions. I have a goal of owning 5. Last time I had 21, I'm down to 20. I again used 2 and bought 1. That actually brings me to minus 1 point because it cost me 5 points to purchase, and I only had 4 whenever I bought this one. And so, whoops. But not that bad a mistake. I just need to finish 1 more and I'll be even. Next is foot care. I have a goal of owning 2 of these types of items. I previously had 7. I am now down by 3 because I finished 3. There were actually 2 of these petties in a box that I finished, but I think I threw away the box for the other one. So I am down to 4 items. I did not buy any, and I am working my way back to 0. Next one is hand cream. I had 4 with the goal of owning 3, and I just had 1 more to use up before meeting my goal. And I did. So I am now at 0 points. I am at my goal. This category is now considered under control, and I will buy things without updating as long as I keep that goal level or under. There is now a graph on the screen. I love graphs. This graph shows how many body care items I have owned over the last 2 years. So we do see that over 2 years I have been decreasing it. That dashed line is my goal. So putting it visually like this shows that I'm going the right direction, but I still have a long way to go in order to meet my goal for the number of body care items that I want to own versus what I actually have. Next is skincare items, and the first subcategory is makeup remover. I have a goal of owning 2. I had 5 and I am down by 1, which gives me 1 point, and I need to finish 2 more before I can buy another one. Next is cleansers. I have a goal of owning 5. Last time I had 23 and I finished 2, bringing me down to 21, and that brings me back to 0 points. I was in the negative because I had a purchase that I wasn't supposed to make, but I have now broken even. Next is face masks. I have a goal of owning 5. I now have 17, which is 2 less than I had before after finishing these 2, which brings me back up to 0 points. So I'm no longer in the negative in this category, which is awesome. Next is serums. I have a goal of owning 4 and I own 31, which is 2 less than before because I finished these 2. That brings me up to 6 points. I still need to finish 4 more before I can buy a new one because this category is crazy. Next is daytime moisturizers. My goal is to own 2. I previously had 4. I have finished this one, so that gives me 1 point, and if I get 1 more point, then I can buy a new one. It would also take me to my goal of 2. For face sunscreen, I have a goal of owning 3. I currently have 11, and that is after finishing 1, which I can't find the empty of right now, but I finished it in Throwback 30, so I can prove it if you go look at that video. I finished a tinted sunscreen, which gives me 1 more point. I still need to finish 2 more face sunscreens to buy a new one. Next is night creams, and in the last 3 months, I've finished 7 of them. They are all samples, but most of these are, so that really isn't cheating at all. And now I have a total of 8 points. I needed 6 to buy a new one, so I can buy a new night cream now, and I am much closer to my goal than I was before. Since I am so much closer, it's going to cost me 6 points to buy my next night cream, and then after that it's going to be dropped to 4 points since I am doing much better in this category. Now we're going to talk about eye cream, and this had actually been considered an under control category because I was at my goal of 3. I've decided that I only really need 2, so it's now technically considered out of control again, but I did finish 1, so I'm now at my goal of 2 again. On the screen there is another graph for the skincare category, and over the last 3 months I've done really well. You can see an inflection point there. So I've managed to get a lot of empties, most of them samples, but that's okay. And I have steadily decreased from my starting point. I am, however, still a long way to go for my actual goal. Next is hair care, and we're starting with the hair color. I have a goal of owning 2. I have 5 now after finishing 1. I still need to finish 2 more before I can buy a new one. Next is shampoo. I have a goal of owning 5, and I now have 16 after finishing 2. That takes me up from -8 to -6. It's the right direction. Still not looking great, but I'm sure it'll keep improving over time. For conditioner, I have a goal of owning 3. I currently have 7, and that is after finishing 1, which brings me from -2 points to -1 point. At the next check-in, I will probably have broken even at 0 again. Next is hair masks, and there was a lot going on here. I did finish 3. I also bought 1, and I got 1 as an Ulta birthday gift. So all told, I have 2 points. I need 3 points to buy a new one, and I currently own 4 hair masks. For simplicity's sake, I have hairstyling products just in 2 categories: things you add to your hair when you're wet, things you add to your hair when it's dry. And I have finished 1 wet styling product. That brings me down to 20. I am still at -2 points in this category, but it's an improvement. For dry styling products, I'm actually up 1, but it's okay. I spent my 3 points that I had as of the last check-in, and I bought a hairspray, so now I have 10 items in this category and 0 points. I'm not in the negative. I still need to use up 3 things to buy something else. You've guessed it, I got another graph for hair care, and once again it is dropping, just not very fast, and I still have a long way to go before I meet my goal. Now we're into the base makeup, and first is primers. I have a goal of owning 3 of these. I finished 3, which means that I now have 16. I have 7 points, and I need 8 to buy something new. So next time I will probably be allowed to do that, but I am going the right direction here. For foundation, I'm actually up 1. I was able to spend 2 points that I had, and I bought a powder foundation. I want to own 4, and I currently have 5, so I am close, but I'm not there quite yet. And yes, on the screen I have a graph specifically for the base makeup, and that's going pretty well. I've actually closed about half the distance towards my goal, so that's going fantastic. I'm not there yet, but I am making great progress in this category. Next is eye makeup, and I did finish a cream eyeshadow. I have a goal of owning 5. I am now down to 19, and I have -4 points. So I need to finish a few more before I break even. Next is eyeliners. I have a goal of owning 7. I had 27, and then I finished 1. This takes me to 2 points, and I need 2 more before I can buy a new eyeliner. On the screen, you can see my graph for my eye makeup, and that one's not so much a success story. It looks about the same. There's been a little up and down, but I actually have 1 more eye product than I did 2 years ago. So that's something that I need to work on fixing. There hasn't been any changes in any of my cheek makeup categories, so I'm not going to go through those, but there's my graph, and it hasn't really changed. I actually have exactly the same number of cheek makeup products as I did 2 years ago, so it hasn't grown, but I haven't managed to shrink it either. For lips, the only change in this category has been with lip balms. I did finish 1, and I don't seem to have the packaging with me, but I now own 10. My goal is to own 5. I have 2 points, and I need 3 to buy a new one, so I'm still 1 short of a new one. That's fine, I'm still using what I have. On the screen you can see my graph for my lip products, and there's not a whole lot of change. It has gone down a little bit. I have 4 fewer lip products than I did 2 years ago, so I'm going the right way, but at a snail's pace. Over the last 3 months there's been no change to either my nail or fragrance categories, but we can look at the graphs anyway. First is my nail products. It does look like it went up over the last 3 months. That is because I replaced a base coat and a top coat. So they weren't nail polishes, and I had the points to spend for them. Those categories are both under control, which is why we didn't bother talking about it. It's gone down a little bit, not a whole lot. Nail polishes move slowly though, so that's not a surprise. Then there's the fragrance, and that one has gone completely the wrong way. That is entirely due to gifts with purchase. I go through fragrance extremely slowly, and I seem to accumulate samples faster than I use them. So I need to figure something out there. And then on the screen is my total makeup collection. So we have seen that blue line there go down. I do have fewer products than I did before, but that dashed line that is my goal is very, very far away. It's still going to take me several years to get anywhere close. Here's the actual numbers, and I am down to 655 items in my collection. I started off with 750, so that's almost 100 items gone in 2 years, so that's awesome. And it's also close to $1,000 different in terms of dollar value. So that's fabulous as well. And in the last 3 months, it's been a pretty good success. I have gone down in every category except for nails and fragrance. Nails went up again because I spent points on things that I was allowed to buy, and fragrance, it didn't move at all. So at least it didn't get bigger. I do have a rule where if by the November check-in I have 650 or fewer items, I am allowed to buy an advent calendar as a reward, and then things in the advent calendar would count as 1 point since I'd categorize it as a gift. So it's looking good. I'm only 5 items off of that already, and it's only May. Looking at the trends over time for the last 2 years has told me that I really do need to buckle down for the eye, cheek, and lip products because those aren't changing very much. And I need a strategy for the fragrance because that has actually gotten worse. I'm going to keep working on that, and we'll see how the next 3 months go. I will see you then for my next check-in. Bye.